that I had. So what, Webb, you've had a lot of success in your career at Wake as a four-time All ACC selection. And then what do you remember most about your time competing in the ACCs?
Well, I have so many good memories of Wake Forest golf playing under Jerry Haas. You know, we had great times. We had great teams. But the ACC, when I was there, it was super competitive. It seemed like every year Georgia Tech just would somehow get it done at Old North State for the ACC championship. But it was a dream come true because I grew up a Tar Heel fan, so I was super familiar with the ACC. But then I chose Wake mostly because Jerry, and also I love the school, and I realized how competitive the ACC was once I got there and started competing with some of these teams. And the ACC championship, that was a tournament that I had always wanted to win. I loved Old North State. I loved getting, all the teams together for that 1 week. And I stunk it up my first 3 years at Wake and finally put together some good rounds there my senior year.
Well, like you said, you didn't, but what a way to finish in the last round. You win by 5, you go bogey-free 66. And what are your best memories of that day?
Well, I remember on 16, tough par 4 with the lake in the background. Pin was all the way back, and I was in between clubs, and I was in between 6 and 7. I remember like it was yesterday. Jerry comes in the fairway. I say, "Coach, I don't know what to hit." He goes, "All right, well, what are you in between?" I said 7 and 6. And he goes, "Man, it looks like a big 7 to get back there." And I said, "You think so?" He goes, "Well, where do you think 8 would fly?" And I said, "Front edge." And he goes, "Well, where do you think a normal 7 is going to fly?" I said, "Middle of the green." He goes, "Well, there's your answer. Pins, 4 from the back fringe. Let's hit 6." And I remember he gave me so much confidence in that moment. And I hit a beautiful kind of flighted 6-iron back there to about 10 feet. But looking back, that's the power of a great college coach. In a moment when I know I'm in contention, I'm nervous, tough shot, tough hole. And he put a lot of confidence in me. And it made it extra sweet in a weird way that I played so terribly the first 3 years to finally, shoot 14 under, win by 5. And I still, I see Jonas Blix from time to time from Florida State. He finished second that week. So I still ask him if he remembers that week here and there.
You're talking about it like it was yesterday. Your memory's that good of it?
Well, I think we remember things we enjoy. And I loved college golf. I loved competing, especially the postseason, ACCs, regionals, and NCAAs.
How did that win at the ACCs at Old North State stack up with all the other wins you had as a college player and as an amateur?
I think it stuck out more than any other tournament. Partly, because like I said earlier, I loved the ACC championship, whether it's basketball, golf, it didn't matter. Like I wanted to win the conference championship. And it gave me so much confidence going into regionals. I'm couple months away from turning pro, a month and a half even. And so I think I knew I was playing well. I did have confidence, but it's different when you go get it done in 3 days of a college tournament. And you go out on a bogey-free final round in that environment.
Particularly when it's a goal of yours, something you aspired to. Yeah.
Yeah. It's something I thought about since I got to Wake Forest. And I think I did put too much pressure on myself those first few years and really wanting to make something happen. And finally, I don't know if I relaxed a little bit or if I was sick of finishing 50th, but it all clicked senior year.
So I'm assuming you still follow the competition within the conference. Who do you think are the favorites coming into the tournament at CCNC?
Well, I think, probably North Carolina's having a great season. North Carolina, Florida State, Georgia Tech's a regular contender. Seems like those 3 teams are the teams to beat. I think Wake Forest, they're not having as good of a year as they want, but I never count them out, especially, a short drive from Winston-Salem. There are similarities in Dogwood and Old Town Club. A little bit hilly, dog legs, pine trees, that kind of thing. So we'll see how Wake does, but you know who I'm rooting for.
As a member at CCNC, what do you see as the biggest challenges of the dogwood course for the guys?
Well, I'm eager to see how they set it up. I'm hoping, one of the biggest defenses of the golf course is the Bermuda rough. So I'm hoping they're able to, get a warm few weeks here to grow it a little bit. It's not the longest golf course. It used to be long, but now every college player hits it 330. But I would say the rough and the greens. And so in a perfect world, what I would love to see is a dry golf course with longer rough and fast greens. Dogwood has plenty of birdie opportunities, but fairway still matters out there. The fairways aren't too tight, but if guys just think they can show up and try to overpower the golf course, that's when you start hitting it over greens from the rough, or trouble can jump up and bite you. So there are different defenses. I would love to see, again, rough, fast greens win so they don't, go shoot 15, 16 under, but you never know what the weather will bring.
What's your insider local knowledge for these guys? Anything you can share with them? Considering they hit it so far and they putt so well and everything else.
Yeah, well, there's not a whole lot of trouble off the tee. There is some water around the green, especially on the back nine. But even though there might be 6 and 7 unders each round, you go out, shoot 2 to 4 under a day, you're going to be right there for a chance to win the final round, I believe. And the greens now having a few years with the Bermuda, there's a lot of putts that have a lot of break. They're very grainy Bermuda. They're very pure Bermuda, but I think guys need to really pay attention to the grain, because the grain, some courses with Bermuda grass on the greens, the grain doesn't have a huge effect, but CCNC has a massive effect. So that's what I would tell them. If you're struggling with a read, really get into the grain. What's the grain telling you?
Has Coach Haas called you up and picked your brain about the course since you?
No, he hasn't yet, but I'm sure he will. I'd love to even go down and help him out if I can. Try to give him a little push to get a victory.
Speaking of that, what's your schedule? Are you thinking about trying to get there at all, or?
Yeah, I hope to be there at least one day. My favorite day is always Sunday, so I'm assuming the tournament's Friday, Saturday, Sunday, like it used to be. But yeah, I hope to come up there. Maybe even yell at the other teams from my driveway on the 12th tee box, try to mess them up.
That's perfect, Webb. We really appreciate your time, and
Thanks,
you're a good guy for helping out the ACC, and you're a good guy for helping CCNC. Well, hopefully we'll see you there, in a couple of weeks or so.
Sounds good. Go
Deeks.
Deeks.
Your family, my friend. All right, see you.
All right, buddy. Thank you. Bye-bye.